Rain poured like punishment from the sky. Cars hissed past the corner of Kingsway and Adebayo Street, their headlights slicing through the storm. And there, beneath a flickering streetlight, sat a woman, drenched, blindfolded by darkness, her frail arms wrapped around a crying baby. "Please." Anything for the child, her voice trembled. The rain drowned her words. People walked past like ghosts, faces hidden behind umbrellas, hearts behind pride. A black Rolls-Royce slowed to a stop. Its tinted window slid down halfway. Inside sat Damien Cole, billionaire CEO of Cole Global Holdings, the kind of man whose name opened doors and closed hearts. He watched the woman through the glass. The rain hit the car roof like drumming fingers. He should have driven on, he always did. But something in her voice, that plea, it cracked something deep inside him. "Sir," his driver asked softly, "should I keep going?" Damien hesitated. His phone buzzed, an email from his legal team. "Contract renewal due tonight." He sighed. "No, stop the car." The driver blinked. "Sir? I said stop." The car halted. Damien grabbed an umbrella and stepped into the rain, ignoring the shocked look on his driver's face. He walked toward the woman, his Italian shoes splashing mud. The baby's cries pierced the storm. "Why are you out here?" he asked sharply. The woman lifted her head, her eyes pale, blind. "Please, just some food." "For him, I'm fine." Damien frowned. "What's your name?" "Amara," she whispered. Something about that name hit him like thunder. Amara, his late wife's middle name. He pushed the thought aside. He noticed a faded scar running across her wrist. Her clothes were torn, her hair matted, but her voice was calm, gentle, too calm for the storm she was living in. "You can't stay here," he muttered. "Come with me." "No," she said quickly. "I can't." He stared. "Why not?" "I don't take charity," she said softly. "Just help me feed my child. Then I'll find a place." He studied her, the defiance in her tone, the quiet pride behind the hunger. He was used to people begging, flattering, lying. But she looked honest. "Get in the car," he said again, this time with authority. She hesitated, then nodded, clutching her baby close as he guided her to the car. Inside, warmth filled the space. The baby stopped crying. Damien's driver adjusted the mirror, eyeing them curiously. "Where to, sir?" "Home," Damien said. The mansion lights glowed through the rain like a fortress. Damien led Amara inside, his expensive shoes clicking against marble floors. A maid gasped when she saw them. "Sir, who—" "Get a blanket," he snapped. "And baby formula, now." Minutes later, Amara sat by the fire, wrapped in a soft blanket, her baby sleeping against her chest. She reached for her bowl of soup cautiously, counting the spoonfuls. Damien watched her in silence. Something about her posture, her quiet composure, reminded him of someone. He poured himself a drink, staring out the window. "Do you have family?" he asked. She shook her head. "Not anymore." "Your husband?" Her lips trembled. "Gone. Long ago." "I see." He took a sip. "You seem educated. You speak well." She smiled faintly. "Once I was. Life had other plans." The way she said it, so measured, so tired, stirred something inside him. He wanted to ask more, but his phone buzzed again. "Board meeting tomorrow, 9 a.m. Don't forget the contract renewal." He sighed and turned off the phone. "You'll stay here tonight," he said. She flinched. "Sir, I—" "No arguments," he cut her off. "You and the baby. My guest room." Amara hesitated, then nodded. "Thank you, Mr. Cole. Damien Cole." The name made her pause. She whispered, "Cole?" He turned. "Yes. Something wrong?" She quickly shook her head. "No, sir. Just familiar." The baby's cries woke Damien before dawn. He stepped out of his bedroom and saw Amara pacing the hallway, humming softly to calm her child. Her voice, gentle, melodic, carried a haunting familiarity. He approached quietly. "You sing well." She turned toward the sound of his voice. "Old habits," she said. "I used to sing to children before I lost my sight." He frowned. "How did it happen?" "Fire," she said simply. "Years ago, someone's greed burned more than buildings that day." Damien froze. "Fire?" he whispered. "Yes," she said, touching her scar. "A warehouse fire. They said it was an accident, but I knew the company's name, Cole Global." The words hit him like a punch to the chest. He stepped back, heart pounding. He remembered that fire. It was one of his company's biggest scandals, caused by faulty equipment they covered up to save face. The victims were compensated, but only on paper. His lawyers had handled the rest. He'd signed the papers himself. And now one of those victims stood right in his home. Amara noticed his silence. "You okay, sir?" He swallowed. Yes, I'm fine." but his hands were shaking. Damien couldn't focus on work. His assistant called 3 times. His business partner threatened to pull out of the contract renewal. But he couldn't stop thinking about the woman upstairs. He walked to the guest room. Amara was feeding her baby, softly humming again. He cleared his throat. "I spoke with my doctor," he said. "There's a new surgery for partial sight restoration. I can sponsor it." She looked stunned. "Why would you do that?" "Because you deserve a second chance." She shook her head. "No, I can't accept that. I'm not your project, Mr. Cole." He smiled sadly. "You remind me of someone." "Who?" "My wife," he said quietly. "She died 5 years ago. Cancer. She was kind, too kind, said I'd drown in my own pride one day." Amara's lips trembled. "She was right," she said softly. He blinked. "What?" "Nothing," she whispered quickly, lowering her head. That night, Damien couldn't sleep. The rain had returned, hammering the roof. He poured himself another drink and stared at his reflection. A man with everything except peace. He opened his drawer, pulling out an old file. Cole Global Fire Incident, 2018. Victims listed, families destroyed. And there, one name stood out. Amara Obi, 26, teacher, partially blinded, compensation unpaid, disputed. His chest tightened. He whispered to himself, "Dear God." The guilt hit him like a wave. He slammed the file shut and walked toward her room. She was asleep, her baby in a crib beside her. Moonlight touched her face, calm, unbroken by years of suffering. He whispered, I'll make it right, I promise." But as he turned to leave, Amara's voice floated softly. "You can't undo the past, Mr. Cole. You can only face it." He froze. She was awake. The rain had stopped by morning, but inside Damien Cole's mansion, the storm was far from over. He barely touched his breakfast. His eyes were red from a night without sleep. Amara sat quietly across the table, spoon-feeding her baby. The silence between them was thick, the kind that carried truths too heavy for words. Finally, Damien spoke. "You knew," he said. Her hand froze mid-air. "Knew what?" "Who I am. What my company did. Why didn't you tell me last night?" She sighed softly. "Would it have changed anything?" He swallowed. "Yes. I would have—" "Fired me out of your house?" she cut in gently. "People like me don't get justice, Mr. Cole. We just survive." Her calmness cut deeper than anger. He leaned back, guilt twisting his chest. "I want to make it right," he said firmly. She tilted her head toward him. "You can't bring back what the fire took." "I can try," he said. "Let me help you. A proper home. A trust fund for your child. Surgery for your eyes." Amara shook her head. "That sounds like guilt, not kindness." "It's both," Damien admitted, "and I don't care. Just say yes." She was quiet for a long time, then, softly, "Why me?" He looked at her, really looked. "Because when I saw you in the rain, something inside me broke. I've ignored pain for years, employees, partners, people I crushed to build my empire. But your voice, it sounded like forgiveness." Amara smiled faintly. "Forgiveness isn't for the rich to buy, sir. It's for the guilty to earn." Her words hit harder than any boardroom defeat. Damien called his lawyer. "Prepare a contract," he said. "What kind, sir?" "Full compensation for one of the 2018 fire victims, plus lifetime support." The lawyer paused. "That case is closed, sir. Legally, we're clear." "Then reopen it," Damien snapped. "Morally, we're not." He hung up before the man could argue. That evening, he knocked on Amara's door. "I need you to sign something," he said. She tensed. "What is it?" "A contract, to correct what I failed to do years ago." He placed the document on the table and read aloud every line: funding, surgery, a new apartment, education for her child. When he finished, Amara's eyes glistened with tears she refused to shed. "I don't want your money," she whispered. "It's not about money." "Then what is it about?" "Redemption." She exhaled shakily. "You think writing a few checks will redeem you?" "I think trying is better than pretending I'm innocent," he said quietly. The baby stirred, crying softly. Amara rocked him, humming under her breath. "You named him?" Damien asked. "Yes," she said. "David." He froze. "David?" She nodded. "After my father. He died in that same fire." The words sliced through him. "Amara, don't," she said, voice breaking. "Just don't." Doctors confirmed Amara was a candidate for sight restoration surgery. Damien paid for everything. Anonymously at first, but she found out. "You could have just wired the money and disappeared," she told him. He smiled sadly. "I'm done running." He was there the morning of her surgery. When they wheeled her into the theatre, she held his hand. Why are you nervous? She teased softly. He chuckled. Because for the first time I want someone else to see me, not the billionaire, not the name, just me. She smiled beneath the mask. Maybe you'll like what she sees. Light. Blinding. Glorious light. Amara blinked as the doctor removed the final bandage. Shapes sharpened, colours returned. The baby's face came into focus. Tiny nose, big curious eyes. Tears flooded hers. You can see? Damien asked from across the room. She nodded, trembling. Yes, I can see. He stepped closer. For a moment they just stared at each other, two souls stripped bare of pride and pain. But then her smile faltered, because now she saw him, and memories came flooding back. His face. She remembered it from the newspapers, the night of the fire. He'd visited the victims' camp briefly, giving a speech about moving forward. She'd been there, lying on a stretcher, half blind, hearing his voice promise justice that never came. You, she whispered. You were there. You promised us help. And disappeared. He looked down ashamed. I know. You watched us burn, and then built empires from our ashes. Amara, please. You said you wanted redemption, so tell me. How many families did you buy silence from? He had no answer. The silence said everything. She turned away, tears spilling. I can't forgive you. Not yet. I understand, he said softly, but I'll wait. Amara moved into a modest apartment Damien bought for her. Nothing lavish, just safe and warm. He visited sometimes, always at a distance, bringing diapers, toys, or groceries. She never turned him away, but never smiled either. Meanwhile, his board of directors hated his new morality. Stocks dipped, partners withdrew, reporters questioned his sudden charity obsession. One night his assistant warned, Sir, if you keep donating at this rate, you'll lose control of the company. Damien replied quietly, Then maybe I'll finally gain control of myself. Amara stood outside the new coal foundation for fire victims. The building gleamed, funded entirely by Damien, dedicated to survivors. She'd been invited as a speaker, though she wasn't sure she'd go. Then a car door opened. Damien stepped out, thinner, older, humbler. He smiled nervously. You came. She nodded. I almost didn't. He looked around at the crowd. Cameras, reporters, former victims. They think this is my redemption, he said quietly. But it's yours. You made me see what I refused to. Amara studied him. His eyes weren't proud anymore. They were tired, human. She said softly, Redemption isn't a trophy, Mr. Fee. Cole. It's a road, and you're still walking. He smiled faintly. Will you walk with me? She hesitated, then took his hand. The crowd clapped as they stepped toward the stage together. After the ceremony, they sat outside, watching the sunset bleed gold across the horizon. The baby, now toddling, played with Damien's cufflinks. Amara broke the silence. I found something. He turned. What? She handed him an envelope. Inside was a document. The contract he'd made her sign months ago. I'm tearing it up, she said softly, his brows furrowed. Why? Because you don't owe me anymore. Tears filled his eyes. Amara, she smiled gently. You already paid your debt, not with money but with change. He looked down, voice shaking. And you? Have you forgiven me? She was quiet for a long time, then whispered, I see clearly now, Mr. Cole, and yes, I forgive you. He exhaled, tears streaming freely. For the first time in years, Damien Cole, the man who thought power meant control, felt free. Amara stood, lifting her son. The boy giggled, reaching for Damien's hand. Thank you, she said simply. No, he replied, smiling. Thank you for seeing me before I saw myself. Open quote. Sometimes the richest man is the one who finally learns the value of a single act of kindness. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because your story might be the next one that changes a life. Close quote.